Yo, what's up YouTube? Hey, welcome back to the Daily Grind, baby. Today is my birthday. And I really wanted to celebrate it with you guys, man. I really wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what I've learned so far and some of the things and principles that I'm living my life by and the things that I've applied over the time to be the person I am today. So I love you so much. Thank you. Gang. Dang, man. Feels good to be back on Alive. That's wild. It's been a couple weeks. I don't even know if anybody's gonna come in. Plus, it's like an awkward time, too.
It's 420.
Oh, 420. What's good? What's up, gang? What's up? Oh, what's up, Jess? Hi. What's good, Andrew? How you living, boy? What's up? Smiling loud. You know I'm doing it. Julia, how you doing? Happy birthday to me. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I love birthdays. I love birthdays, man. I love to celebrate people. I love to celebrate people being here. Naturally, I love celebrating myself being here. I love my life. You know, and so another year on it, another year at it, another year to experience it, and so I always love that, man. I love it like birthdays because they're kind of like New Year's, you know, like, but for you personally, you know, and then you get to assess like how you've grown and how you've changed, and knowing that you're like so much more equipped going into another year to be you. It's just birthdays are awesome, man. I love them. Turning 21, that's fucking fantastic, dude. I love that. I love that for you. 21's like one of the best, obviously, you know? That's like the last one that you're really like, oh my God, my birthday. Like after that, they're just kind of like what I just said. They're reflection times. Like, you know, I only like party almost because I feel like I have to. Like it's like required, you know, like people are like expecting that of me. But for me, it's just a day that I like to just sit back and be like, yo, damn, dude, it's crazy being you. Like it's just so cool to be you, to have this life, you know? It's just awesome. And so I thought today it would be like the perfect day to get back into some live action, man, to come check in with you guys and to just share what I've learned, I guess, up to this point, like kind of where my principles lie now and like how I kind of come to understand life, right? And I think I'm just gonna do this like every year on my birthday. I'm just gonna talk about like what I've learned so far, man, because everything that I'm about is about like sharing with others. You know, I love to share my experiences. I love to share like anything, you know, like I only want to be wealthy so that I can like share it with the people around me. So I just love to try and give back. And so I've learned a lot, I think, you know, I've studied a lot. And so I just want to tell everybody just kind of what comes to mind, you know, just like what I've kind of reflected on today. And this morning, I went on this like long walk this morning by myself and I was just like, dang, man. It's crazy. Like, I never thought I'd be here. You know what I mean? Like, I never thought that my life would be the way it is right now. And so I want to tell y'all a little bit about that. So, what's up, Grind Gang? How y'all been, man? How y'all been? Dude, thank you so much for everybody who sticks with me and, like, you know, grinds every day and, like, does their thing, spreads love and positivity, shouts me out, man. I love you guys so much. Y'all keep the Grind Gang going even when I'm not around, and I appreciate that so much, man. Like it's a movement, it's a thing that's like really, I think, is gonna change the world one day. You know what I mean? I really think that. I really believe that. Even like hanging out today with so many, or like over the last week, I got to hang out with a lot of youth. You know what I mean? Like it was like going back to high school is crazy. But we were shooting this music video, and it was all these high school kids and stuff. And to see how enlightened these kids were at 17 just blew me away. You know what I mean? And like when I was 17, I didn't know anything about this stuff, y'all. Like I didn't know nothing about that. Like I don't ever remember anybody sitting me down and telling me like, yo, you can think your way to success, or like you can change the world with your thoughts and your vibrations. Like that wasn't like a conversation that we had in my house or at school. Like I never, like The Secret wasn't a thing, you know. I just never even knew that was possible. And some of these kids were saying they've been practicing the law of attraction since they were like in the first grade. And I just think that's absolutely fantastic, you know? And that really gets me excited for what I believe is like a period of enlightenment that humans are going to go through right now. You know, like I think over the next 100 years or so or whatever, this next just era of human life is going to be full of a lot of enlightenment and growth and progress in the way of our spirit, you know, even in the way that like science is starting to prove that like God is a real thing, you know, and just that like we're all in this unified matrix of like one energy. I think that's becoming like the prevalent thought pattern of today, and that's just awesome. So anyways, but what I thought was like, dude, at 17, I didn't know anything about that. Like when I was a teenager, my life was a lot about like, I knew that everything that people were trying to tell me was weird. Like it didn't make sense. Like the point of life that everybody was trying to like spoon feed me in some way just didn't seem, I was like, dude, there's gotta be more to it than this. Like, I love my parents to death, but they would work and, they'd come home and they would just watch their shows and stuff. And it just didn't seem, you know what I mean? Like to me, everything about like what was going on around me and what people expected of me didn't seem right. I was like, why is there so many rules to this shit? And why do I feel like I'm being oppressed? And so anyways, but I didn't know why. I just knew I like wanted to be more than what I was, and I didn't really know how to get there because I just, like I said, that wasn't like the type of conversations that we had in my life like at that time. And so I remember I'd sleep a lot, dude. Like I would sleep so much as a kid. And looking back at that now, of like, even my mom, she acts like I sleep a lot still, and I don't. Like I wake up at 5 o'clock every day, and 16-year-old me could never have fathomed that. Like waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I just couldn't even wrap my head around that concept. Let alone on a Saturday and Sunday or whatever, on your birthday, like I couldn't, I love to sleep. I thought sleep was like the greatest activity that you could do. Like, you know what I mean? And a lot of people are like that. They're like, ooh, I love sleep if I just get the chance. And looking back now, I realized that it was because I was hiding, like I knew I wanted to do great things. Even at that age, like I knew I wanted to be this, I wanted to share stuff with the world, and I wanted to be somebody that people looked up to, but I didn't know how to do that. And so I just didn't know what to do with my time. Like I just didn't know, like I said, like I think a lot of people, I slept, or I would just watch TV, or I just kind of entertained myself simply because I didn't know how to go after my highest dreams. And I knew I didn't want to settle, so I was just lost in this like weird space. And so I slept a lot, and like I said, looking back at it now, I would hate to sleep. Like when I sleep in at like 10 o'clock, I'm like, ugh. And I'm like, what's different now? Why do I like, ugh? And then before I used to be like, yeah. And it's really, the only thing that's changed is I want to do what I'm going to do today. Like every day, I really feel like what I'm going to do that day is going to be super important, that it's like, it's the full expression of who I want to be, like I'm passionate about that. And so that yanks me, it pulls me, like, no matter who I was throughout all my 31 years, like Christmas Eve and Christmas morning, like I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm out of, right out the bed. Like, and that's the same. Now I have that Christmas morning feeling every day. Like, and that's just a passion thing, I found something I'm truly passionate about. I didn't find it, actually. I really just created it, if I'm being honest, and that's something I'm going to talk about too. But I created something that I'm truly, truly passionate about. I love doing every day. I love being a filmmaker. I love sharing like my wisdom and knowledge with people, and getting messages that say like I'm helping people and that people are building better lives for themselves because of something that I said is like amazing to me. And so that just pulls me, like truly, truly excited. That's why it's not hard to get out of bed early in the morning, because I know that like what I'm going to do in that morning is so important, right? And so that's something I didn't have when I was 16 or 17. And so I slept a lot. Matt, could you have me some water, bro? Mm-hmm. Thanks, I appreciate you, man. Oh, hell yeah. Ba-dow, my brother, always prepared. And so another thing, so then a lot of people ask me like, how did I get to be positive like I am? Like, how did you get to be so happy? How did you get to understand all the stuff that you know and all this, right? And it's like, right? From 17 to 31. So, what is that, like 17 years, 15, 16, something? I'm not good at math. So, so it took a long time to find this person that I am, or to build this person that I am, is really what it comes down to. And people always ask me how. And so this is what I learned. This is what everything shifted for me in my life, like, period. Like, everything shifted for me in about a 5-year period, right? And it's from this time that I learned about what the law of attraction was. And when I heard about this, it was really weird. I dated this girl for just a couple months, and I'm convinced these days that the only reason she came into my life was to show me this movie. But she heard the way I would talk about things, and I've always been a philosopher, and I've always kind of like thought above like just everyday thoughts. I'm always like, why things are the way they are. And that's step one, is questioning everything. I never took anything in life at face value of just like, people say, this is the way it is. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. That's just the way it is then. And then I fell in line. I always said, are you sure that's the best way to do it? Why is it that way? Where did that come from? Always just seeking, knowledge comes in so many different forms. And so just naturally asking myself questions about this world and this reality and this life and what it's about, not just taking things spoon-fed. And so that led me to that, she was like, hearing the way I talk, she's like, have you ever heard about The Secret? And I was like, nah, what is that? And she's like, oh, this is a documentary, I think we should watch it, whatever, right? So I remember she pops it on, it was like Netflix or whatever, and we like started watching it, and like immediately I was like, I fucking knew it. See? I fucking knew it. I was like, damn it, I knew it. And it was so funny. I just remember like, okay, cool, I'm on it now. Like, this is a real thing. This lady's like, tell me about this. And I tried my best to like make that happen, and I was not good at it at first, right? Just like everybody, I thought it was like this magical tool that you just like grab onto and you start like slicing the shit out. Like that was something that you use. But it took me years and years and years to learn that it's something that you do to yourself. It's a change that you go through. It's an understanding that you go through, right? And so, but I started off on that journey. And so people ask me, how did I get from there to here? Well, daily practice. It wasn't something that I just tried. I was in Afghanistan for like a couple years, right? And Afghanistan's a really weird place because, it's like being in prison, but it's just the gates are meant to keep everybody else out, right? Instead of keep you in. And, but you have a lot of time to yourself. A lot of time to yourself. And what I noticed over there is, if you don't have that passion like we talked about, or if you're not seeking it even, you just waste your time, You fill your time with like, people would do the dumbest shit. I mean, they would just watch hours and hours and hours of Netflix, or like, play little games and just things to distract ourselves from the fact that we were just like not doing what we wanted to do with our life, right? But I started to realize, I was like, okay, I want to do something different with my life. I'm going to have to apply some type of different action. Because I was doing the same thing. Like, let's not get twisted. I was just watching bullshit and fucking around too, right? And so now when I started using all this free time, I was like, all right, I'm going to start like learning about this. I'm going to start studying successful people, right? I'm going to start like listening. Like I just started listening to like these like motivational compilations on YouTube, right? And so it started off as like I would just listen to them every now and then, but they started to like kind of consume me. And so all day I would be working and I'd have these headphones on. And in Afghanistan, you would work 12-hour shifts, right? So you'd work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, no days off. I promise you, every single day. No weekends, no nothing. 12-hour shifts, you're on, you're off, you're on, you're on, you're off. And that's 365 days a year, right? You get a break every 6 months. They give you a 30-day break. So it's like, it's a grind, right? And so every day I would just listen to this shit. And feeding your consciousness, like even when you don't like know that it's doing something to you, it's doing something to you, right? Like listening to positive people speak does something to you. Watching and studying other people who are doing great things and seeing that it's like possible in a way, there's a part of you that will resonate with that and say, oh, that if that dude or this person can do it, I can do it too. And so I started filling myself with that. And I just kept hearing people say, one of the first things that I learned, like this is the whole story I'm trying to tell you right now, is that your thoughts become things, your reality is created by your thoughts and the way that you think. That was what I learned through this whole thing and studying those people and studying the law of attraction. I never heard like these people say, I had to, like, they always talk about this thing called luck, or they would say like, like that they were putting out vibrations and stuff, but it was never about like physical means. Like it was never the circumstances, right? I seen people come from the lowest of lows to make it. And I saw people come from the highest of highest to keep it. And then I saw people who had everything and lost everything and then made it all back. And I saw people who overcome cancer. And I heard all these stories of people who've overcome any and every limitation that you can think of. And then you start to ask yourself, well, why? What excuse do I have? Like, why am I not doing this? You just keep hearing it, and you're hearing it. And you're like, why am I not doing this? And then I started to break those walls down. I just did. I started to test myself, right? And to seek, like I said, uncomfortability, doing things that weren't always what I always did. So many times I see people who say they want change, but then they just do the same thing. And they just do the same thing. And you do that, and it's like, well, where do you think change comes from? I had to do things completely different. I had to push myself to wake up every morning. That just sounds came natural, but I said, look, well, if I want to learn how to, like, these people keep telling me they meditate and that this is a great thing for them. Every single, listen to them. I promise you, they'll tell you meditation. It'll come from skyrocketing from so many successful people at you. How many times you have to hear it? So I'm like, okay, cool. I got to figure this out. They figured it out. I got to figure this shit out. And so I had to work with it. I had to set 1,800 alarms that go off at the same exact time. And I had to start putting my alarm clock across the room. But I couldn't just do the same. You can't just wake up every day at the same time and say, I want change. I don't know how to make it happen. Start doing something. And then I always hear, like, even me, like, I made excuses. And that's what we do. We make excuses for ourselves and why we can't do something. And I tell people all the time, I'll accept your excuse if you're doing everything else. You know what I mean? So many times people be like, I can't lose weight. And I'd be like, why? And they say, I got a thyroid condition. And I say, okay, all right, cool, you have a thyroid, but are you walking? Well, no. Do you work out at all? Are you doing it? No, I don't do any of that. Do you eat right? Are you eating healthy? No, I eat like shit. Well, okay, like, your thyroid is of the least of concerns then, right? Like, if you was checking every single block and then your thyroid was still fucking you, then we could talk about your excuse, right? But that's the second thing I learned, right? Is that my thoughts can only create so much. It will create the way I perceive the world. And so I got all this energy and all this extra boost and passion for life by changing my thoughts, right? That gave me a whole different perspective on life. It gave me an excitement for life. Like, yes, I can do it. Like it's possible for me, right? Like I'm special enough to make that happen. And so it got me excited. But then I knew that I had to do something different. And so I started to do things differently. I stopped hanging around the same people. I stopped, making the same excuses. You have to make some little change. And those little changes that you make, I know it's difficult, it's hard. That's the point, right? It's not supposed to be easy. Like you're breaking old habits. Like it's a difficult process. I get it. But you start making little changes. You do any and everything that you can to start to become more of like what you want to be. And then those things build on top of each other, So it starts off really difficult. It's like anything that you've ever learned in your life, right? You're going to go learn a new skill. If you want to learn how to play basketball or something, the first time you pick up the basketball, it's really, really difficult. But the more you practice and the more you play with it, the more you learn, those skills build on top of each other. And dribbling turns into shooting, turns into, defending and everything. And all of a sudden you're like this great basketball player, right? Or whatever. So working out, same way. Like I didn't just start off like doing the most craziest of workouts and shit, Like I started by just saying, you got to show up at the gym. You got to go. You can't make an excuse today, Rod. No excuses. You're going to go. And so I would go and I would bullshit my way through it. And it was this little goal, but after a while, right, like y'all heard me talk about this before, it's like after a while I felt dumb just wasting my time there in the gym. I was going, and I was wasting my time, so I was like, all right, cool, let me get in there and let me work hard, So then I started working hard, then I started getting results, And when you start getting results, then you're going to get really excited, guys, because your brain loves progress, right? That's something I learned too. It's like the whole time, the reason I never got started, the reason that Rodtheplanter didn't start 10 years ago is because I felt like I wasn't perfect, right? Like I wasn't somebody people would listen to. I was like, I haven't done anything. I'm not a multimillionaire. I didn't create no crazy business. Like nobody's going to listen to what I have to say, you know? And I was waiting to be the best that I could possibly be to get started. And then I realized like humans don't need perfection. We need progress. You know, you start to like, ooh, you get so excited if you can just see a little bit of growth in an area, right? Like you get a little muscle and you're like, oh shit, this shit's kind of working. You know, and you're like, oh, and then you start to see more of like the end. And so you get excited and that starts to pull you more, right? Passion, progress. These things I learned. And so that progress, like it pulls me and that gets me really excited. You know, that keeps me on fire. I'm never looking for the end goal. Like I'm not a millionaire yet, you know, and so long I was that was my goal, you know, and I was measuring myself by that $1 million yardstick and it was just like, I wasn't getting anywhere close to that and that was like crushing me. But then when I just changed that to progress, just like, dang, look how much better you were. I go back and I watch my old videos and I'm like, dang, like, yo, like if we just kept doing this for another 5 years, like we're gonna master this, like we're gonna be amazing. Same thing with my filmmaking, right? And my music videos, they sucked, but I was just like, yo, if I just keep doing this though, you know, like I like doing it, it's fun. Just do the thing that you love, right? And I think that's a good one right there too. I had to sell out after a while. Like you become so like, yeah, this is possible. This is possible for me. And this is what I want. Right. And so I had to sell out. And what I mean by that is like, I had to stop listening to everybody else. Like people will tell you things masked as advice to help you. But it's really to help themselves with you, if that makes sense, right? Like sometimes you're going to want to be things and do things and go places that other people can't understand. And so in a weird subconscious way, they try and hold you back, right? And it comes in these forms of what ifs. People love to hit you with that. What if this doesn't work? And how are you going to make that happen? And what if this doesn't work? And then what, you know? And at the time when you're listening to these things, they make so much sense. They're like, yeah, that's practical, right? That's the word, another word they use, practicality. And like, you know, this makes sense. And like, you gotta think realistically is another one I fucking hear all the time. I had to sell out across all that. I had to shut all that up. And I said, look, I'm not working on realistic. Like the things that I've learned, like I really had to have faith in this idea that I'm going to do it with my mind. Like I don't have to worry about what's realistic because I'm going to attract it unrealistically with my mind, right? And so I had to like really sell, and that's why another thing I think holds people back is they don't sell out to the idea that this shit is like unreal. Like you're using a cosmic force that's not bound by reality, you know. Dude, yeah, peace out, bro. Much love. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Yeah. So you're using this. And so like I had to sell out to that idea. And so people would be like, well, you got to think practical. No, I don't. I'm just going to think about what I want. I'm just going to think about how do I get from here to there. I'm going to narrow in my focus, you know. And so I did everything that people tell me I couldn't do. Sleep in my car. People are like, oh, how do you do that? How do you sleep in your car? That's crazy. You know how you do that? That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You literally, you crawl up in your car and you go to sleep. And then you wake up the next morning, you go somewhere, you get some water and you brush your teeth and you spit it out on the sidewalk and you fucking get to grinding on your day. Doing whatever the fuck it is, the reason why you're sleeping in your car, right? But I had to change my perception of all this stuff because even now people look at me like it's crazy if I'm like, yo, I'll sleep on the floor. It's cool. No, it's cool, man. Let me just sleep on the floor. And they're like, oh no, sleep on the floor. You can't do that. It's gonna, what are y'all talking about, right? So I had to really stop letting other people's limitation, other people's fear, other people's doubts, affect me, you know? And it's tough. I don't know how to explain it to other people. People say, well, how do you do that? It's a selfish kind of thing. Like Maude talks about, you really have to, this is where that selfishness comes from. There has to be a part of you that understands that if you don't be the best you can be, you're really doing a disservice to everybody else, right? Like, I've become the best version of myself, and in that person, I've been able to help and inspire people around me. But when I was sleeping all day and lost myself, how many people did you think I was really helping? I wasn't. I was a fucking terror, man. Ask my parents about 17-year-old me. I ran away from home. I caused like mayhem and chaos everywhere I went. Why? Because I was not in control of my own emotions, and I did not know myself. You know, I was not happy with who I was. And so all I could do was spread what was inside of me, you know? What is inside of you will reflect outside. Like I said, your thoughts will create your reality. So by becoming that best version of myself, I had to do a lot of things that people didn't want me to do. And a lot of people judged me, and a lot of people were upset with the choices and decisions that I made. I hurt a lot of people's feelings along the way, and now they all thank me. Now, every single person who was hurt by me, just going, not by like trying to be like painful to them, but that was hurt by me going off and being who I wanted to be. Or when I stood up and told people I was going to be polyamorous, and people were like, well, you know, this and that and blah, 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 and they were mad, and like I was so different, right? And it wasn't, I just had to tell them, like, this is just me. It's just who I am. I'm not trying to hurt you, and I'm sorry that offends you. But if it does, then I'm out. And I didn't talk to a lot of people for a long time, you know, and it's stuff like that. But now we all grew through that. And now I get to be so much better of a person to all those people. My son, my baby mom, like my mother, like all these people who I kind of used to treat like shit. I treat them so much better now. And that's because I treat myself so much better now. You know, I'm so much happier. And so taking that time to make yourself happy is the most important thing. You know, you will not manifest that into the world if you do not first put it inside yourself, you know? And so I had to break a lot of people's hearts, is my point, and I had to go against the grain, you know? I had to do things that seemed fucking idiotic to people. I had to do things that people thought was crazy. People do every day. People come into my house now and they like look around and they're like, where's all your furniture? How come you don't got nowhere to sit? How come you don't got no TVs? Because I don't care about any of that shit. And I understand that that's like weird for people to, you know, you can't be afraid to be fucking weird. You can't be afraid to be who you are, because in your true self, you're going to shine, right? It's so crazy to me. This is something I'm just learning now. I used to try so hard to be cool. And liked. And I wanted everybody to think I was like just this cool guy, you know, and I wanted to be liked. And I tried hard to do that. And then now I don't give a fuck, right, at all. And it's not like a pretend I don't give a fuck. Like the only person I'm trying to impress is myself. So if I like what I'm doing, then that's all that matters to me. All that matters to me. Do not care who else agrees. But it's funny how now everybody be like, damn, you're so cool for that. I'll put something on, I'll like wear some kind of like shoe or something, and people be like, man, normally I don't like that, but it looks great on you. Like everything. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. How did I get cool? Because people see, like when people see somebody who's truly themselves, that is inspirational to people. Because in the end, at the deepest level, we all just want to be exactly the person we want to be, right? We want to be our true self. We don't want to have to hide behind masks and lies and defensive walls. And we don't want to have to feel like, people hate that they have to live out their ego. On a subconscious level, that really represses people. And so when they see somebody who's freed themselves of that ego, it's a real inspiration, right? I'm inspired by those people, and I feel like that's what people find inspiration in me, is not that I've done anything of spectacular worth, but that you can tell that I'm truly who I want to be, right? And that's fucking cool. So you can do that. right? You don't have, that's the great thing about it. You don't have to reach to anybody else's standard or anything, you know? Like, the ego will try and make you pretend like you have to be so many different things. Like, if you're a fantastic mother and that just like puts you on fire, that you're just like the bombest mom, you know, like, take like a lot of pride in that, you know, and understand that that's like the pinnacle of everything, right? Is if you just love who you are and what you do, and you do it well, right? And that you like who you are is the only thing that matters. Yeah. I know I've talked a long time, right? But I guess, you know, it's like 31 years, man, you know? Oh, it's only been 30 minutes. So cool. It's like only like a long life, like a regular life. What else? Oh, your habits, though. Let me give y'all some concrete things. These are things that I was just been on a philosophical rant about my life, and I want to give you true, solid things that you can do. Like the things that I did that made me who I am today. Did. These are like, grab a pen and paper, right? Like, this is it right here. You do these things, you will get the results. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this, right? Like, it's a very formulaic thing, right? So your habits create you, right? And create what you do, who you are. So what you're doing every day is creating your life, is creating your, like your reality, right? I don't know what the all-encompassing word is. So if you want to make changes right now, don't think on this like big grand scale of like what you gotta build, like you're gonna build this megalithic empire for yourself, or you're gonna go off and quit your job right now and move across to Los Angeles, right? Like, you don't have to do any of that, right? It starts so small by just like getting control of your day, right? Like getting control of what am I putting my hours into, right? And then take a couple of those hours. Just find somewhere that you can steal those hours. This is where it's going to take some type of dedication on your part. Like for me, when it was me in Afghanistan, I had to sacrifice my music. Like I would listen to music all the time, all day, and bebop all day. I had to turn that into like motivational study, right? And like learning about like the law of attraction and shit like that. So, you have to take a couple of these hours. It might be Netflix. It might be waking up early. That's a big one. People say they never have any time, but they're always waking up. I'm like, dude, if you go to work at 9, if you wake up at 5 o'clock, you have like 4 hours right there where like nobody's looking for you. That's time. Like nobody, like, your kids aren't even awake. So it's like, wow, perfect time to do things that are important for you. So that's going to create some kind of change for you, right? Meditating, working out, like reading the book. But you gotta do something different. So, and then daily habits though. That's my point. I started changing my daily habits. I started eating like better, I started just like putting some type of physical activity into my day, but like slowly but surely these things change you. And over time, they become natural. It's really hard at first, but it's really fun too. Like I said, as you start to create progress. So, I really took personal development, right? Personal development, like, people get out of high school and they just stop working on themselves. They like, Like we force people to go to high school, and so they'll learn dumb shit that don't even really help them, but we'll learn up to that. And then after that, we like get a job, and then we just like coast around on our job. But people don't like, if you want more out of the world, you have to be able to give more to the world. And the only way you can do that is by elevating yourself, like learning a craft, or like, just making yourself a sharper, better tool in the world, right? Like being able to do whatever it is that you do better. And so I started taking personal development serious. My body, my mind, my spirit, right? Every single day working on those things, making them absolute priority, right? Even to this day, my main focus is just take care of myself. If I just take care of myself every morning, the rest of my day takes care of itself. I attract everything that I need, right? Don't move here no more. Yeah, for real. I feel that. I'm about to skip too. I love that. Elevate, right? But so like really work on yourself. Study. Do something different, right? Like do something different. And then studying, like I said, studying. And then really that's it, honestly. Just studying and doing things every day, right? To like change myself a little bit, like just making personal development a priority. I think people just don't really do that. They just don't like think about working on themselves, And so as you just work on yourself, it doesn't happen overnight. It's just like the gym. Like you don't get results the first time you go. But over time, over a couple of years, you know, you get better. You just get way better at it. And so that's where I'm at now. At 31, I'm like, dude, I'm like your personal trainer, right? Like, I got it. I'm so good at the gym, you know, the spiritual, mental, you know, physical gym, that now I get to help other people, like, learn, you know? And it's like, cool. It's cool. And every day, I always just wake up a student, go to sleep the teacher, right? You know, that's it. Just learn. Just keep working on yourself. But people, they forget that part. They really do. You forget that. You forget that it's important. You just like, you know, people look and they like look at their body and they say, I don't like my body. And I'm like, okay, you know, what are you gonna do? It's like, you know, like we always reach for a strategy, you know, and I'm like, dude, there's a million strategies. If you want to lose weight, there's a million ways out there to lose weight. If you want to get rich, there's a million ways out there to get rich. You want to be famous, there's a million ways out there that you can make yourself famous. Like, there's a million ways to attract these things, so why don't we all get the change that we're looking for? It's not the strategy, obviously, because there's strategies out there. It's just a mindset, you know? It's just a mindset. And so I just started working on myself. You know, you work on yourself. You fix all those little things that you have that limit you from going out there and doing things you want to do and chasing that, you know, whether it be fear or whether it be this idea that you can't do it or whatever. You know, there's all these, hey, happy birthday to me. Thank you, Danielle. I love you so much. I do. I can't wait to see you again. Thanks. So yeah, you know, that's it. You work on yourself and then all that reflects outwards, right? You'll start to put more energy into the things you do. You'll get better results. You'll like, you know, you'll start to just seek, you know, the perfect strategies. You'll try things, you know, like I try a bunch of things and some things don't work. Some things work really well. And then you just keep learning and growing, right? Learning and growing. But the progress will set you on fire, and that's for sure. Isn't she absolutely the sweetest? Yeah, I know she is. She is. She really is. Like an absolute angel. I love you. I love you all so much. Thank you so much. These are the things that I've learned so far. I'm still learning every day. I'm still trying to get better every day, as I hope each and every one of you guys are. That's what the Grind Gang is all about. It's about us just trying to make ourselves the best that we can be so that we can be the best that we can be for everybody else, right? I love you guys so much. And I talk to y'all real soon. We're going to get back to doing this thing, this whole little daily grind thing, baby. All right, I love you. I'm going to go celebrate my birthday. I'm going to go drink some beer and shit. I'm going to do some things you're supposed to do on your birthday. I'm going to do that. All right, I love you all. Thank you. Peace.